Well, friend, how was that? That was, yeah, quite the experience. I do agree, it is the experience of utter freedom. The ability to use whatever tool you would like to engage in recreation and possibly even defense from who really knows, right? How did you like shooting with the body armor? It's fun for training. I mean, I'm not a training expert. I would recommend possibly going to No Other Choice firearms training if you want some good local training. But don't mind the cat and dog kind of looking at us and walking around. I honestly just use this plate carrier when shooting because I don't have any competition magazine holsters. If you've seen competition shooters that have the holsters that are on their hips and they have these fancy belts, I don't really have that. So when I'm out in the backyard range, I just throw this thing on. It's fun anyway. Gives you that tactical feel. And it has AR 550 level 3 plus rated armor. And you like that? It was kind of fun. It can get a little bit heavy, but we see on the back, I always like to make sure that people that I shoot with kind of have a basic understanding of medical, like basically trauma type treatment. So we have a tourniquet and a basic trauma kit in case any accidents happen. Being kind of responsible like that. There goes the Marnie cat. And yeah, so I'm glad that you had a kind of great introduction into the reality of not really obeying the laws. Of course, this being an AR-15 converted to an M16, sort of, we have a full auto machine gun, which you were able to enjoy. You were able to enjoy the Glock 18. Look at this beauty right here. Glock 18 9mm. It says Glock 17. If you did not know, the Glock 17 converted to full auto is actually what most people see when they see a full auto Glock. Their Glock 17's converted to full auto because it's just easier to obtain that way. So that's the one that I have here, the full auto Glock 17. And actually I have some things in here that I wanted to give you. And oh, you want to pick up some body armor of yourself? I like how this is going. It's a Spartan Armor Systems. And basically, I wanted to talk about a few things, and I have this bag here. And now that I trust you enough to give you this information a day of shooting, I figured I trust you. So I'm basically, you've been talking about you wanting to buy certain things because you've seen me with these illegal items. And I just want to say that I actually, for a living, I sell these things because I just simply don't obey or respect the government's rule. Quite literally, they've deemed these objects to be illegal, and I just love too much to see the smiles on people's faces like you had when you experienced fully automatic fire, when you experienced the silencer, you like the short-barreled rifles, and you like the drum magazines. And none of those things are legal here. And that doesn't stop us. Whether it's for recreation or defense, we just don't really mind the laws around here. And you don't really hear about it because we don't do anything wrong with our illegal firearms and illegal accessories, illegal magazines, illegal silencers, you name it. We just have a good time. It's not necessarily a small inner circle. This is a lot of people who have come together and made basically quite the inner circle. In other words, my work is in fairly high demand. And we're basically people who, it's basically a very patriotic thing. I want you to embrace that feeling of freedom. I love it, and it seems like you do too, and we all do. And we would all defend each other from any threat trying to stop us from engaging in victimless recreation and training for defense. With that said, knowing that you wanted to buy some of these items, you were kind of wondering, well, how can you get your hands on it? I hope it doesn't become some competition where it's like who gets the nicest, newest gun and can do all the crazy stuff to it. If it does, that's pretty cool though at the same time. There's a number of those going on, but you may have picked up that I said my business is kind of in high demand in this circle. Well, I'm not kidding. I do this for a living, actually. It's my job, full-time, and I don't do anything else. I basically convert AR-15s to machine guns. I make silencers at home. If you don't know, there's a lot of things that mostly come from the NFA or Hughes Amendment, where we have, if you want to experience some of these things, you have to go through a tremendous waiting period, an invasive background check, as all of them are, and you have to pay a massive tax, do crazy paperwork. And when I say these are things that you have to do, I'm lying, because as my full-time job, I've chosen to dedicate myself to letting people have freedom without dealing with the government. So, actually, if you wanted these things, you can come through me. Of course, keep it on the down low. Did you know that, just for example, if you are willing to be captured, the fine for having an illegal silencer something that you can make for about $20 using maybe an oil filter and a thread adapter, a solvent trap, hearing protection, in other words, a silencer. Wanting to shoot without wearing a headset using modern hearing protection. Say you are caught with an illegal silencer and you refuse, or you actually comply. Be captured. It's up to you. I have made my decision, but we're talking 10 years in prison and $100,000 of a fine. That's what we're talking for threading something onto the end of your barrel and not having to wear a headset. Victimless recreation and many uses for defense, but the government and other people want to regulate them in a degree like that, which any regulation I don't support. And that's exactly why this is the way it is. So just to keep that in mind, the reality though, so don't go necessarily, talking to a bunch of people about it, but I can hook you up. And we are firearms enthusiasts at the very least around here. Which actually comes with some knowledge, and it seems like you're pretty interested in it. And I have this book that I wanted to give you. I'll read some of it right now. And tell you a little bit about converting an AR-15 to a machine gun. Now, there's many ways to do it. This book goes through the drop-in auto sear, goes through the lightning link, and the method that many people choose now too is a hanger. You can literally have a metal hanger, a coat hanger, literally, like that metal wire thing, and in a few minutes you can turn your AR-15 full auto using the coat hanger. I highly suggest looking that up. In fact, I do have a photo of it as an example because it's not in the book, and we will take a look at that right now. This is the coat hanger machine gun, and this is mainly being shown right now because of how utterly ridiculous, of course, that's how it goes in the receiver. The regulations where you have to, in this case, it would be considered you're manufacturing a machine gun, and that is insane. You have to go through so much work to make a legal coat hanger that you twisted in a certain way. That photo was from Open Source Ordnance. Feel free to check out their content and maybe even download them to keep those files safe. Speaking of safe downloadable files, I will soon be getting my hands on a ghost gunner so I can start machining my own lowers. And I'll tell you what, because I'm feeling extra freedom, let me go ahead, take this magazine out of the Glock 17 converted to full auto, and let's just have something really cool happen. Yeah, I didn't show you this yet. This is a 33 round Glock 9mm magazine. look at this chunk. It's funny because when most people see this, they actually end up thinking that it's a 31 round magazine because the markings go to 31 and they stop. But actually it's a 31 round plus, there's literally a plus on the base plate, and that means +2. So it's actually a 33 round magazine. So let's go ahead and put the magazine inside of the Glock. This magazine was actually made for the Glock 18. It's sometimes referred to as a Glock 18 magazine, even though of course this is a Glock 17. And then, as we know, in this state, short-barreled rifles are not legal, but we go ahead and we do this anyway. We put the stock on the gun, and now we have the little full auto Glock with the stock and the magazine. That's pretty cool. I'll set that on the side. You know, sometimes things being illegal, it just makes you want to do them just in spite of the law, which is kind of crazy, but it's fun, and it's very patriotic if you ask me. Keep in mind that I have never, and will never, unless it is defense, hurt anyone. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have this here just as a representation of the coat hanger. I actually don't even have a wire metal coat hanger. I have plastic ones. But you can still, I mean, you can hear that this is plastic. But you get the idea of being able to fold the hanger if it was metal in order to make your full auto machine gun. But speaking of, this is a book that I'm going to give you, the AR-15 to M16 conversion book. And as I said, it goes through, honestly, it goes through just basics. You can download this online as well. It goes through M16 duplication, as simple as separating the upper from the lower, going through the stock, the bolt carrier, removing the hand guards, dimensions of the lower receiver. That's actually what's considered the firearm legally. And now it just goes into details. AR-15 parts to be discarded. If you are converting with a basically military style of conversion to full auto, you can get rid of the semi-auto bolt carrier, hammer, selector, trigger, and disconnector. And then get the M16 parts, the full auto bolt carrier, hammer, selector, auto sear, trigger, and disconnector. There's the Marnie cat. Come here, Marnie cat. There's one dog laying on its back over there. And then there's the Marnie cat walking around. Here we have a zoomed in picture of the M16 selector. And it tells that there's a difference, so you have to make sure which one to get. Numerous M16 parts sets have been sold with an M16 selector switch that has been altered. If the selector switch you have has the cam surface removed as shown in the drawing marked modified, it will not work as a full auto selector. The selector must be unaltered as shown in drawing F. So you can spot the differences between those two. It's helpful hints like that, because I'm not in this for money, of course. It is for the idea of freedom. So if you get a wild hair and you say, hey, I want to give this a try myself, you can do so. Goes into putting it all together, and then it goes from that, it goes to the drop-in auto sear, how to convert your bolt carrier if you wish to use that method, and then the drop-in auto sear. That's a picture of what a drop-in auto sear looks like. Imagine how easily you can make one of those, honestly. It is quite not very difficult. And those are the machining instructions. It's funny because the guy who made this book, he's a funny person, clearly, just by the way he talks. Here's the lightning link, one of my preferred methods to convert to full auto. And he talks a little bit about the lightning link here. The parts can be made from tool steel, machined with great precision, hardened and tempered with loving care, then polished to a high gloss that your mother would be proud of. On the other hand, using only a couple pieces of power hacksaw blade to make parts from, a Dremel tool, hand drill, and 1 or 2 files to do the work, you can cut out the lightning link in about an hour. How about that? The only complaint I've ever heard about the lightning link is it converts the firearm to full auto only. I can't see that's a problem. No one says you have to hold the trigger down until the magazine's empty. I've found with a little practice it is easy to fire 2-shot bursts using the link, and keep in mind it only takes about 10 seconds to install and remove it in about 6 seconds. And you see how it fits in to the gun. Stuff like this. Do you have almost like a tingly sensation of freedom? Because I get that, and it's great. So that's kind of my preferred method, is the lightning link. And I want to give you this book. There's a lot more detail, and if you want more, you can, of course, look online for it. And this right here, this AR-15, it has the drop-in auto sear, as you can see there. Full auto, and you can hear the 3 pins. I say 3 pins, I mean 3 different selections that I have here to engage full auto. It is quite great. Another look at the beautiful, absolutely beautiful Glock 17 converted to full auto as well. Just can't get enough of that. This is actually fairly concealable. You can have this in a holster and be pretty concealed. I mean, this is a small package. I mean, in this state that we live in now, the regulations are to the point where, I mean, it's almost like you may as well go all the way breaking the law, because so much is illegal that you're already piling up offenses in quotes, by doing so little. In this state, we actually can't even have a adjustable stock or a pistol grip that you can put your thumb around. If you've heard of the grip fins, we live in a state that has grip fins and bans on stocks. They call them, the word is assault. So, the Marnie cat, I hear her. But apparently, these stocks are assault, as in the verb. These are assault stocks, assault grips. I'll go ahead and look up the grip fin in case you have never seen that before. And it's pretty intense, but in our state, it's actually not legal to be able to put your thumb around the grip of an AR, or as they call them, assault. So I'm going to actually, in defiance of that, and because I like you and I want to see you be free, I have a stock which is adjustable. Here we have from AR15.com, just a little example of what a grip fin is. It is quite literally a fin that prevents you, if you choose to comply, it prevents you from putting your thumb around the pistol grip. So I have this here, this assault stock, because you can adjust it. See, there's different adjustment points, and that's assault. So I'm going to give you one of these because I think you're pretty confident that you want a AR of your own, and if you get one, I'll do any work that needs done, but I'll go ahead and give you these because it'll probably come with the grip fin, and it will come with the stock. What you have to do to comply is you have to install something in these holes here that makes it to where you can't, even if you use this lever, it makes it to where you can't adjust the stock because that's assault. So we're just going to go ahead and give you this one right now because it's just an adjustable stock. More safe that way, you have more control. And the pistol grip one without the assault, or this one is the assault one, I forgot, without the grip fin. So those actually can go with you, and I'm about to do something because I look at you and I see a little patriot, someone that I can trust. Someone who loves freedom. I'm going to give you this, and this is quite the gift. This is the Magpul D60. This is a 60 round, that is 60 round drum, you can call it, magazine, and it is fully loaded. And I think that giving you this in this state where we are only allowed to have 10 round magazines, I think that giving you this kind of shows how serious I am. Yeah, this is not very cliche. Technically technically I am an illegal arms merchant, if you will. And this is an illegal gun sales situation. But it's not really all that the movies kind of hype it up to be, is it? Believe it or not, people can be engaged in daily illegal arms sales and manufacturing of different items, machine guns, silencers, what have you, and not be a bad person. In fact, have no ill intentions. So it's all about recreation and defense. Listen to the sounds. You can look up a video on how to load one of these, but it is loaded right now to where you can quite literally take the magazine out and then put yourself, now you have a short-barreled rifle with no grip fin and adjustable stock. You have a grip up here. This is also not legal. because in order to have a grip on the fore end, it's assault. So let's just keep that in there. It's also assault, having an adjustable, this is a competition trigger, which is also assault. And I mean, I'll give you the magazine, but you know, the trigger, you can kind of choose your own and find one that you love. This is just a representation of a high-powered round. Many people think it's assault to have high-powered rounds. This is a 50 caliber, 50 BMG tracer round. It's like a little good luck charm, and it's alive, so you can hear the powder in it. It's pretty cool. I'll give this to you too. It's very, very neat. Yeah, it almost feels as though this isn't assault as much as it is kind of relaxing, honestly. Yes, indeed. You can pick yourself up one of these plate carriers, chest rigs. This holds 3 Glock magazines at the moment, and then 3 AR-15, 5.56, 223 magazines. Some of them are the metal, some are polymer. You can 3D print many of these things as well, keep that in mind, such as silencers or various gun parts and magazines. So you can even think about utilizing that. And it's pretty dang cool if you ask me. So why don't you go ahead? We've had a long day of shooting and a good time just with one another. Ponder the things that we talked about, and if you're feeling like it's something that you want to do despite what the government says, hit me up, or if not, I'm not trying to pressure you into anything. Anything you do is your responsibility. But do hit me up. Call or text anytime if you want to come back and just have a good time. My friend, we will be focusing next week on more medical preparedness. So if you don't have an everyday carry type of maybe medical bag, we will do some work with that. But yes, my friend, you have your book, you have your assault, your 3 assaults, the stock, the pistol grip, and the 50 cal round. And I suppose that this was pretty great. So I'll see you again. And before you leave, I'll go ahead and get you a water, even if you aren't saying that you want one. So, see you soon.